Hi, friends. My name is Eric, and I, host Eric, am the host of a little something called Talking with Famous People. So, before I even get to the important question posed by the title here, should you wear a bikini in Mumbai? I will go over something else a little bit different, which is I called that Mass Mutual people this morning after I was very much distressed by the letter I got yesterday saying they still needed the documents that I've already sent in. Well, I called them. They have received them. They actually cut me a check. It should get in the mail by Friday. So that's good. But should you wear a bikini in Mumbai? You might be asking yourself, Eric, why are you titling this video, Should You Wear a Bikini in Mumbai? What's up with Mumbai? I don't know. No, I don't think I'm going to go on that. The reason I'm asking this question is because before I started the stream, there was a thumbnail, and it sucked me in. I wanted to see what it was all about. It was about whether like white girls do this thing they shouldn't in Mumbai. So I clicked it, and it was wear a bikini. Apparently, you shouldn't wear a bikini in Mumbai. That nobody else wears that few clothes to the beach. But you know, I'm not telling you not to. I'm not trying to give you commands. I'm just telling you that according to the short I just watched, the answer is no. You should not wear a bikini in Mumbai. Keep that in mind if you plan on going to Mumbai. So I was very relieved this morning when I talked to those people and confirmed what I hoped would be the case, that even though I got that letter yesterday, they had sent it before they received my documents, and that they had received them after they sent it. And that is, in fact, exactly what happened. In fact, they cut me a check, and it's in the mail. So that's what I call good. That's what I was thinking too. I wonder if we get any Mumbaians to weigh in on this question of whether you should wear a bikini in Mumbai. Read Shantaram. No thanks. I don't know what that is, but no thanks. You don't want to wear a bikini out here tonight. Fortnite Big Chungus, you talking to me? Leslie Big? Not specifically, but yes, specifically, I'm talking to you. I don't know who you are, but I woke up from a dream last night and it said, I need to talk to Leslie Big about Mumbai. And the reason is probably because you keep wearing a bikini in Mumbai. No, Boba Fett, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to sell me on reading something. You have to convey to me just, here's why reading this is such a great idea. You can't just give me a recommendation and expect me to just be like, all right. Tell me why I should. I don't even know what it's about. I've never heard of it before. You read Dr. Faustus by Thomas Mann, okay? Shantaram is a 2003 novel by Gregory David Roberts in which the convicted Australian bank robber and heroin addict escapes from Pentridge prison and flees to India. My bro, too wholesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, I will. I will do so. You enjoy the rest of your day as well. And I'll try to get less wholesome. I guess I could start on that process right now. I could get a little less wholesome than I am at the moment. Let's do that before I go outside and once again get less wholesome. Wholesome County Prison. In Wholesome County Prison, people go to jail for not being adequately wholesome. I'm Sonia Rizwan. Hi, happy family Sonia Rizwan. You're not just Sonia Rizwan, you're happy family Sonia Rizwan. I wonder what kind of a name Sonia Rizwan is. It really rolls off the tongue. Here in America, someone recently died, just a regular fellow. Turns out he had robbed banks when he was young. No one knew he was so glamorous. His friends found out later. Is robbing banks glamorous? Two most glamorous things in the world are a starlet on the red carpet and a bank robber. And understandably, that causes a lot of confusion for people. Sometimes the cops will come arrest starlets on the red carpet, and then it'll be like, whoops, sorry, you're so glamorous, I thought you must be robbing a bank. Heart Gree Axe. Heart says, Kaba bababa, bumbe bababa. Yeah, a lot of ladies are into bad boys. That always bothered me because I'm a good boy. It's like, hey, ladies, how about you find a good boy like me sexy, huh? But instead, they're like, no, we want bad boys who treat us like shit. Well, anyway, that's just all part of life as a beta male, I guess. What are you going to do? You just got to embrace your identity as a beta male. That's all there is to do in life. Yeah, lovely morning. Quite chilly, actually. Australia is the country that makes our stable, dodgy Billy Bong into a glassy, creating a gator bug. A glass gator's bottle bong. Shit's hot. That's a lot of words. Some interesting words, yeah. I was gonna say that as well, something like that. I came to say that Twilight is truly great. I'm sure it is. But you know what? Dawn is kind of cool too, not just dusk. Hi, Katie. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Have you found Anbor yet? Anbor KE soulmate. Anbor KE soulmate. So I had my hopes up briefly that Kevin, that ISFJ I typed not that long ago, that maybe he was Elaine's Kevin, but he didn't really look like it, so I guess not. You have a matchmaker. I try to find people their soulmates. It's what I do. It's how I roll. It's what I rock. It's meow I meow. Chaos Fuel says hello. Hello to you, Chaos Fuel. Chaos Fuel eats chaotic gruel for breakfast. That's his way. He rolls that way. No. I'm saying I typed somebody named Kevin not that long ago, and I was thinking for a moment maybe it was Elaine's soulmate. But unfortunately, he didn't really look very much like the picture, so I guess it was a different Kevin. You're not giving much credence to my picture drawings? Well, it is conceivable that sometimes on rare occasions, KE, a person will have two soulmates. So, it's maybe conceivable that I need to channel from your spirit guides your other soulmate, because you don't seem to be too fond of Anbor. I think he's a perfectly handsome gentleman. I don't know what your problem is with him. No, KE. You'll take that cop out. It's a cop out, not a cope out, okay? Get it right, KE. You got it wrong. Good morning, Lou. Rainbows and flowers to you as well. Only if you want tan lines, says Thingless. Good answer to the question. According to a short I watched before beginning this live stream, the answer is no, you should not wear you should not wear a bikini in Mumbai. Okay, now you've got quite a name there. I am not famous, no. And I also don't talk to famous people. But when I started the channel, I anticipated interviewing regular people, and the idea being that by interviewing them, I made them at least momentarily famous for whatever small community of people watch the channel or whatever. However, it turned out not to be that. I didn't end up interviewing people really, although I do interview them sort of when I type them, when I publish typing sessions. Yeah, well, that's kind of the conceit of it as well. Exactly, is that everyone's famous for something. Everyone's worthy to be famous for something. How much do you bench? Mr. Kartoffel, even if you wanted to praise me into giving you a moderator status, you would be praising the wrong thing. I don't really care about my appearance very much. I mean, yeah, I can. I can juggle 9,000 pound cubes of dark matter. Oh, Fed, here we go again. Here we go again. Why don't you just do that at home? If you're going to go drinking, why don't you go drinking at home instead of going drinking out in the world? Have you considered that possibility? Then you wouldn't have to worry about getting home. You'd already be there. KE is hungry, but also had chocolate. Chocolate's not a meal, KE. That's why you're still hungry. Alright. I'm in the mood to start off the day today with a little bit of tarot card pulling. Yeah, I know. I'm famous for being so strong. What makes it weird is that I'm actually so weak. Is your name a Korean reference? I bet KE's soulmate's name's Il Park June or something like that. I don't even know what to do with you, mister. I do not. This is for you. Okay? Mr. Offensive Name, this is for you. You got the Universe card. It's pretty good. Just popped right out of here. Well, I saw a short before beginning this cardless play, but twofers don't count. And it said, no, you shouldn't wear a bikini in Mumbai. And you got this one, Judgment. I guess I'll just call you Offensive Name. And you got this one, the Moon. Wow, you got 3 major arcanas. So the universe, it means like the world's at your feet. You're kicking ass, taking names. Judgment, well, it could be good or bad depending on whether you deserve good or bad judgment, right? So you could think of it also as you having judgment, but I tend to think of it, well, yeah, you having judgment as well, or a finality of something turning out one way or the other. And then the Moon. The Moon means like dreams, illusions, lost in your imagination, that kind of a thing. So we'll put those all together. What did it tell you? I don't know. It says you got 3 major arcanas: Judgment, the World, and the Moon. I would say make sure the universe, you're not mistaking, you're not thinking you're dealing with the universe when really you're dealing with the Moon, because the difference between the two comprises the judgment. Mr. Kartoffel, I will leave now. And that next time, well, you can expect all you want, but that's not going to happen. Does anybody else want some cards for them? I'm going to do KE next. She seems like a card needer. Lee Hyung Suk. All right, KE, you got the 6 of Torches. Seems like you're walking a well-lit path. You got the Hermit. You're like, I got a single light in the darkness, and I can deal with shit myself. And lastly, you got the Magus. Got all these different tools at your disposal. You can cast a variety of spells. So you're walking a well-lit path, but you're walking it by yourself. That's cool because you're the Magus. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? I got my email congratulating me on 10,000 subs. Anybody else want cards? How about Winston's mom? Let's see what Winston's mom gets. The Emperor. That's a good one. All right, Terry Cheeves will do you next. Winston's mom, you also get the Seven of Torches. Which is kind of like, oh shit, I spilled my torches everywhere. That's what it looks like to me, anyway. Trying to get a single. Here we go. No, that's a twofer. Never take a twofer. That's what my spirit guides say. Oops. Strength. You're the Emperor with strength. That's great. But just make sure you don't spill your torches. No, an email. An email I got. A congratulatory email for 10,000 subs. Thanks, offensive name. I appreciate it. You were wise. You were wise and correct in the ways of YouTube. James Day would definitely wear a bikini. And then I believe he's talking about his wiener. The most graphic fashion. Okay, so next up is Terry Cheeves. You get the Eight of Cups. In this instance, you've got all these cups, but you're climbing up a mountain, presumably for more cups. Well, I could call him manager. Terry Cheeves, you also got the Five of Torches. I see this as a card that suggests you and someone else are climbing a hill. You have plenty of torches. In fact, you have one too many torches, but it's fine because they double as walking sticks. And your last one is Princess of Torches. So, in this one, looks like you're running away from a volcanic explosion with a cat on your back. I mean, there's a lot of climbing up and down in this reading, okay? Climbing up, climbing up, climbing down. So, I think that means you're busy in both emotionally and sort of practically. You're busy climbing up emotionally, and you're climbing up and down in terms of practicalities. That's kind of the overall read I have on that one. Is there anybody else who would like me to read their tarot cards? How about you, Money? The Hanged One for Money. I'll do you next here, Lamb. The Hanged One. You feel maybe a little stuck right now, maybe a little upside down, but also like you're garnering a new perspective. Next, Ace of Torches. A new practical enterprise perhaps will resolve this state of hangedness. And then This one popped out. And it is strength. Okay? Look, you're so strong that you can pet a lion's tongue. Patience is another word. So if you want to get out of being the hanged man, maybe you need to be patient and strong in following through on a new practical idea. All right, cool. You're up after Hero Lamb. Hero Lamb. Princess of Swords. Look at you, flying in the sky. You got a sword. You got fiery wings. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go stab that guy. Good looking out, homie. Stay up, SA Loco. I'm assuming that's a good thing. So I'll say thank you, I guess. This one, 4 of Torches for the Hero Lamb. And this one, I like the way that you have sort of telekinetic powers over the torches. You look like you're about to send them flying at somebody if you need to. It's a very attack-oriented pull. And lastly, the 10 of Torches. You've got a bunch of torches. It's dark. You can see the moon kind of a little bit. But really, you should probably light one of those torches. I know what you want to see, Azura. You've told me that multiple times now. All right. Lou, before I do you, I'm going to do Azura's relationship with BBC. All right, Azura, this poll is about your relationship with BBC. Well, here's the first one that pops out. The Lovers. Wow, Azura. I guess we know your relationship there. The Lovers. Congratulations. I also have, this one was sticking out, Strength. So see that hand and that tongue? That tongue represents your tongue and that hand represents BBC. All right. Congratulations. You were really winning the tarot today. And lastly, the Queen of Cups. I mean, how much more BBC oriented could this be? I think we know what that represents right there. Azura, you're that lady. And that cup is exactly what you're looking for, BBC. All right. Well, Azura, the tarot, your spirit guides have spoken. The Lovers, Strength, and the Queen of Cups. So, I understand, I guess, why you're so obsessed with it. All right, next we've got Lou, and then Ivar, okay? Lou, 2 of Cups. It's a special time for you and me. We're holding hands, cups pouring G on our heads. It's called the Soulmate card. Here's another one that's sticking out. 2 of Swords. A lot of 2 energy here, Lou. Your spirit guides are saying, you've got a choice, You make a choice, so make a choice, Yeah, make a choice. You've got the 2 of Swords. Make a choice. All right. Ow, my wrist hurts for some reason. Like, stop hurting, wrist. And your 3rd card, Lou, your spirit guides gave you is, check it out. Look at this. It's the Empress. You're nursing a baby. You're getting rained on. You got some green stuff on you. Congratulations. So, 2 of Cups, 2 of Swords. But don't forget, you're the Queen of Queens. That's what the Empress is. The Queen of Queens. Now, it really was insightful, Azura, I agree. Now, is there somebody else who wanted It was the Empress. All right. See you later, Lou. Don't forget to rock and or roll. I guess I'll go ahead and did I do hero line yet? I think I did. I need to Ivar, that's right. Ivar. Ivar, your first card. The Three of Cups. Celebrate good times. Come on. We're gonna celebrate now. There's a party going on in here. Ivar's second card, the Queen of Torches. You've got a He-Man style super cat, plus a smaller cat, and everything's on fire around you. You are the Queen of Practicality. Ivar. Ivar Spirit Guides, what do you have to say today? Two of Pentacles. Well, I think we know what that means, Ivar. You've got some chores to take care of. You need to do meow. You need to take out the trash. You need to put the meow in the meow. Things like that. So, yes, you're the Queen of Torches, and so you rightfully feel entitled to party, but don't forget to take care of your responsibilities. That's the message of this tarot read. It does. It changes everything. It really does. So, I guess I'm about done pulling cards. I think I'll pull 3 cards for myself. Might as well see what the day had in store for me. I'm really happy you guys took care of that mutual thing. I got the Emperor. I guess that must link to the fact that, yes, I took care of it. And I don't need to stress out about the meow. Next, I got Temperance. So that means, it's going to be a pretty meow day. So it's going to be a whatever kind of day. I think maybe I'll go over and turn the water on at the other house. And then last, we got Prince of Swords. I think that's really what I'm doing right now. I'm just Prince of Swords and, having fun with ideas, whatever, that kind of thing. I guess I should probably pull a poll for Rachel while I'm here, while I have the cards out. See what her spirit guides have to say. Oh, Rachel spirit guides, tell me the way. Explain to me how, and meow that I may. Show me her cards, the tarot that bring the truth of her day, her soul and her wings. She starts with, I'll put my glasses on so I can read things a little bit. She starts with the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles. She's chilling. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Look at these pentacles up on the tree. Oh, Rachel Spirit Guide, show me the way. Show me the tarot that I see today. Let it tell of her soul and her ways. Find out now. Queen of Torches, hey? Oh, and this one fell out, which means it counts as well. 2 of Pentacles. Well, chores, practicality, and comfort, I guess. Not too bad. All right. I'm going to put these cards away. And should I listen to your intuition? No. The tarot says no. You should ignore your intuition, K.E. I didn't do Boba Fett. That's okay. Because I'm going to do Boba Fett instead. I'm going to do him. Oh. Boo. I spilled it all everywhere. Why do you have to be so retarded all the time? Because I take my retarded pill. Help me to be retarded. Oh. Maybe you should stop taking those. How else am I going to be retarded? Why do you want to be retarded? I don't know. I'm retarded. There. Okay, here you go. Boba Fett. Let's find out your magical sentence. Boba Fett spirit guide, tell me his sentence. Boba Fett spirit guide, tell me the way. Boba Fett spirit guides, tell me his sentence. Boba Fett spirit guides, me. Death? Better be careful, Boba Fett. Someone's already poking out. Confidence. Mystery. And love. Only love can give you confidence in the mystery of death. Only love can give you confidence in the mystery of death. Love can give you confidence, yeah. Only love can give you confidence in mystery of death. Love can give you confidence, yeah. What do you think about that? Now, who else gets a sentence? I think KE needs a sentence. She needs to be advised about things. She needs me to coach her life. She needs a life coach. Rejection. This might be about Anbor. We'll find out. Illumination. Love. Strength. The rejection of love can illuminate your strength. The rejection of love can illuminate your strength, KE. Okay, so the fact that you don't want Anbor might be okay. BBC is NWO. Don't let them control your mind. You mean the British Broadcasting Company? Okay, I'll try not to. Anybody else want a sentence? How about you, Ivar? Do you want a sentence? You seem like you could use a sentence. Let's find out what it is. Peace. Ivar is going to resolve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. I'm so proud of him. Oh, it's a twofer. Never take a twofer. It's the rule around here. Pain. Peace and pain. Let's see. Protection. Push what stuff for mind control? That's a twofer. Never take a twofer. What kind of stuff do they push for mind control? And success. All right, remember. Pain can sometimes protect success and lead to peace. That's your sentence. I want to know what kind of stuff the Illuminati pushes. BBC demasculates young Western men into a beta mindset. Well, I mean, it would seem to me probably more likely that you understand some of the paradigms that are being pushed implicitly by certain kinds of media outlets, and you're viewing those as intentioned to do something specific. I wish you well, Boba Fett, but I've already discussed this with you. Oh, Terry Cheeves wants a sentence. Okay, Terry Cheeves, no problem. You get a sentence. Here we go. I'm going to ignore until he communicates with me via other channels. Dude already sent a hello. Peace. You got peace as well, Terry Cheeves. Terry Cheeves' favorite guys, tell me the way. Show me the card to pick for her today. So she gets the sentence she needs and finds out your spirit guidance, please. Trust. Mystery. And isolation. I would say isolate when you need to trust in the mystery and find peace. Isolate when you need to trust in the mystery and find peace. Aren't there normally MS Teams / Slack channels that are dedicated to work? Yes. I'm going to say yes. Who votes yes on that? So the thing is, I want to address this idea that media is demasculating young Western men into a beta mindset. I mean, how much are people really so programmable by a single source of narratives? You've got multiple competing sources of narratives. People think what they think. I encounter people who think all kinds of different things. You obviously don't feel as though you've been demasculated by this media outlet. So if you have resistance to it, why wouldn't other people have resistance to it? And I'm not sure what you mean by demasculate anyway. Like, make them think it's good to not be violent or something? I'm so feminized that I've begun menstruating. I will say that society's understandings of what's masculine have definitely changed over the years. By and large, I'm considered pretty masculine these days, I think, whereas that wasn't the case when I was younger. So it may be the case that society's understandings of masculinity have changed. I'm not sure that's a bad thing. We certainly have plenty of people who Good for you. Good for you, Sasha D. I'm outside actually to have a health tube share their wives. I have never felt ever encouraged to share my wife. I mean, why would I share my wife? Oh, why would you be kidding? I mean, I don't usually smoke joints because it's just difficult to roll them, but I do pull quite a few bong rips. And what are you saying? 242U5344TRGHEY212T3T2U. What are you all about? Maria Rolau? I can't understand that. If you're saying anything in particular, I don't know what it is. I think that jelking is masculine. What's jelking? Oops, Maria Rolau got busted by Acacia. Now you're in trouble, girl. How you like that? Now you got busted. Boy, it's cold out here. It's a little too cold for me to miggity now. Yes, you do have my name right. It is Eric, and it's spelled correctly with a C. You see, the snow is mostly melted, but it is still cold out here. Quite cold, in fact. I'd say colder than a witch's tits, which of course are famously cold. Colder than a witch's titty. Colder than a witch in a brass bra doing push ups. That's an expression I heard one time on Naked and Afraid. And you might be able to hear the neighbor lady yelling at her children, as she frequently does. This is how she parents. She doesn't say, hey, it's time to get up and go to school. She says, horrible woman. But one pleasant sound that helps to drown out the sound of the horrible woman is the very pleasant sound of the stream down in the gully. We finally got enough water this winter that we got an operating stream down there. You can hear it. I think you can hear it. I can hear it. Hypertrophy. I don't know what hypertrophy is. Never heard that. Someone applied exercise logic across a different domain. Is that what happened? Okay. Fine. As you can see, it'll be easy to get out of the driveway. That's nice. I don't have to dig anything. I don't have to scoop any snow. We do need to go to this town today and go shopping. We are out of food like Grouter Shoed. Grouter Shoed is a person who is famous for being out of food. It doesn't work, as I'm told by a friend. I'm going to have to look up and see what you guys are talking about. I obviously missed a key component in this conversation, preventing me from understanding, which is, of course, for those who don't know, the best preposition to use. I see what I missed. Okay. Okay, never mind. Now I've meowed. But keep in mind, Eric, you did not grow up on this content. If you're bombarded by it from 13 to 14, it might have a much bigger effect on your thinking. True. True enough, Ivar. I'm not disputing that, but I would also still point out that people are exposed to a multiplicity of different messages. They tend to find the messages they want to be exposed to. And it's not like a bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds watch the BBC news programs. Tanning your testicles. I see. Well, I think that that is insane to try to apply that to your penis. Your penis is not a muscle. Your penis is its own thing, right? DG. No. If you want to talk about, say, Israel's policy or something, fine. But I don't tolerate a bunch of idiotic groupism around here. And that's exactly what this is, idiotic groupism. So do a better job if you're going to try to express ideas. But does everybody understand that your penis is not a muscle? Okay? It's this thing that it gets engorged with blood, or it's not. It doesn't become erect because of a muscle. No, the truth doesn't hurt, okay? If you want to critique Israeli foreign policy, that's fine. Because then you're not creating a monolithic idea about a group of individuals, each of whom, like you and me, are individuals, first and foremost. So if you can't deal with things intelligently and correctly like that, then it's not the truth that's a problem here, it's that you're being dumb. You can understand it all you want. If you're not actually doing it, it doesn't matter. I don't know what tren is. People overcomplicated working out all these science guys. Yeah, what do you got to do? You just lift some weights. You don't need to make it into some kind of you don't need a bunch of like little circles attached to you sending data to some machine, etc. to work out. It's a steroid, Eric. Truckosteron. Oh. Well, I've never done any steroids. I'm not interested in steroids. Although I will admit, I do believe that my inhaler has steroids in it. So I guess that's what makes my lungs so strong. Do you think that steroid infused inhalers make your lungs extra strong? I think they might. So I feel a lot better having resolved that issue with the Mass Mutual people, assuming I can trust what they say on the phone, you know. And do I get bored being correct all the time? I don't get bored with it, but it causes me other problems besides boredom. The problem it causes is that most people aren't correct. And then I feel compelled to correct them when they say wrong things. No, it sounds silly to say to somebody, but I think it's actually an excellent question to ask me. Um, it's not so much that I get bored as I get frustrated by the fact that there are many things in the world that are questions that have clear answers that have already been resolved in no uncertain terms, and people want to continue to argue about them as though they were subject to interpretation or whatever. So I find that frustrating. I find being correct neither boring nor exciting. It's just what it is. No, I I'm not into that. Ivar, actually, I'm not into playing devil's advocate because I see a world that's full of incorrectness all around me. They don't need anybody to play devil's advocate. Nobody does because playing God's advocate, I have enough trouble making any headway. The last thing I need to do is contribute to the water muddying habits of the world. When I was younger, I engaged with rhetoric recklessly. Um, I didn't really care about right or wrong. I just kind of enjoyed fucking with people, arguing with them about ridiculous stuff or whatever. But I've outgrown that. Now I don't do that anymore. The last time I did that wasn't that super long ago, and it made the person I was arguing with really upset. You know, because I think they never seen that from me before and probably expected better from me. It was about something silly like what we should have done at the end of World War II or something like that. In that instance, I was just kind of arguing for kicks, but that's the last time I remember doing that. And I didn't like how afterwards I realized that wasn't cool. You know, he got upset, and people expect better than that from you. Thanks, Uchenpinik Upizank. I don't know how to read that name at all. Do you trust people? Yeah, by and large, I offer a default amount of trust to everybody. But you know, it's always conditional. You know, like new data can cause me to reevaluate. I think it's important to enter into any engagement by affording the other person the benefit of the doubt starting out. You know, do I trust you? I afford you that initial benefit of the doubt trust. I appreciate constructive criticism, especially from someone with more intelligence than myself. Well, that makes you a pretty special snowflake, simple girl. Most people don't appreciate constructive criticism. When I was younger, what are the lyrics to your song? Which song is that? It goes, when I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you, and you'll want to know the way back out to wherever it was you were. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will, and the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly, and I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Those are all the lyrics to that song. No, I mean, snowflake as in, you know how every snowflake is unique? So to be a snowflake is to say, not very many people actually appreciate constructive criticism. And like for me, I kind of compartmentalize things. I do want constructive criticism in some areas, like uh especially like production of a song. I might put up an early mix and get people's feedback to it. Hmm. Well, simple girl, I hate to tell you this. I'm going to correct you right now. You can't talk out of your ear. It's for hearing other people talk. So you wouldn't be any better off if you were talking out of your right ear. You'd still be silent in both instances. Do you ever feel like you have a trained apathy of sorts and you are trying to reclaim a subjective humanity? What a great question. Thanks for asking that great question, Money. Um, no. Am I trying to reclaim a subjective humanity? I mean, I'm definitely trying to, I don't know if trying to is the right word. I definitely find myself evolving in my relationship with my subjectivities. But um, it mostly plays out in the sense of I'm gentler. I'm I'm gentler now than I've ever been before, and or since childhood anyway. And that's consistent with my FI absolute value. But it's not really the result of effort. It's more the result of just being situationally empowered to optimally function, I guess. Now regarding the first part of that question, and I'll get to your question in a bit, Viv. Get to your question in a bit. Um, regarding the first part of that question, you ever feel like I have a trained apathy? Uh, a trained apathy. Well, if you want to email it to me, Chaos Fuel, I could put it up on the community tab. Um, the thing about negation is that it both looks outward and sees the wrong in others, and also keeps your soul in purgatory. Logic is inadequate in providing the escape velocity to some calling. It's a good way to put it. Um, However, that sounds much more like SE Polar than SE Eighth ultimately. I don't know what edging is, okay? I Googled it before, I forget what it was even. Oh, okay, cool, Chaos Fuel. When she gets up, I'll ask her for it. She may have, I don't know, was she just on it a little while ago? I don't know when she went to sleep or whatever. I slept super well last night. God bless you too, Zara. So I want to answer the question now of, well, first I want to finish this trained apathy thing. Uh, no, I don't really think I've ever had that. I think for a long time, I continued to believe, despite evidence to the contrary, that the problem was as simple as anytime there was a problem, it could be boiled down to something needs to be explained better to somebody. so that everybody understands. And when everybody's on the same page, and I mean, when everybody understands, they'll all be on the same page. Arda Kalaskan asks, should I wear a bikini in Mumbai? I'm an 18-year-old, 80 kilogram, 185 man. I don't know what a 185 man is, but I'm going to say yes, you should. You should wear a bikini in Mumbai. According to a short I saw prior to starting this live stream, which showed two Indian people talking, the biggest mistake that Westerners sometimes make in Mumbai is like white girls will wear bikinis to the beach, and that's considered not socially acceptable. So the answer to the question is no. Anywho, Hossein Mohammed Sarefi, hello to you. Looks like you're from Iran. Welcome. Now I want to go on to the truth of the question of, does truth matter? That VJ Viv says, does the truth matter? Well, I mean, the thing about answering that question is we should remember that truth is a status we afford to statements for some sort of reason. So anybody can afford truth to any statement. Some of us will agree, some of us will disagree. The thing about that is there are some kinds of statements that if I afford a status of truth to, they're easy to validate or falsify. For example, if I tell you that, as I have, that I dealt with my phone business before starting the live stream, I waited until it was 6 a.m., called Mass Mutual because they're on Eastern time. Dealt with my phone business with them. Got the good news that yes, they received my documents and they have sent me a check. So like that kind of truth, that kind of story can be easily enough validated. I could, in theory, take a screenshot of my phone records, show that I in fact called that number. I could show you the papers that I responded to. That's why I called them. I could prove easily enough that I'm telling the truth, right? In contrast, if I say something like, I feel sad right now, it's both not possible for me to validate that such that you can know for sure that I'm telling the truth. It's also not possible for you to falsify or validate it independently. And that's because the statement is about subjective data, namely my own feelings. So, does the truth matter? Well, when people are making certain kinds of statements, they're doing so for certain reasons. When I explain cognitive functions, I try to explain it in a way that's correct, accurate, in other words, true. And the reason I do that is because of what it is. It's an explanation. So explanations, if they're going to validate on their own metrics, they need to explain things meaningfully. And my understanding of what explaining things meaningfully is that other people can apply the explanation and understand things meaningfully because of it and not be led astray because parts of it are wrong, right? So if I explain to you how plumbing works, but my explanation is, oh, somewhere inside the faucet, there's a device that condenses water vapor out of the air, and that's where the water comes from. Well, that's a fine enough explanation unless you ever have to do anything about your plumbing. Well, the drain's clogged here. How do drains work? Oh, well, there's squirrels inside that eat all of the stuff that goes down the drain and drink all the water, and that's where it all goes. So then I'm like, what happened to my drain? The squirrels must have died. If I try to fix it accordingly by putting new squirrels down there, it's not going to get fixed, right? So, my man, my girl is hot. You are a very kind man, sir. Thank you. My man, my girl is hot. I try to be a kind person. At least I try to be not a mean person. I was just diagnosed with ADHD, and depression and anxiety has made me isolate and become very introverted. Well, if you've been diagnosed with ADHD, that's good. That means you get to say, you get to take speed. Isn't that wonderful? I'm noticing how many women go undiagnosed, but would be diagnosed as on the spectrum. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. There's no such thing as Asperger's, okay, or spectrum. People either have autism or they don't. Nobody wants to listen to me. I explain things. I have my statements that I make. I can defend those statements well. Got good reasons to believe what I believe. But it doesn't matter. People still think I'm wrong all the time. Like, it's crazy the amount of you spoke out of line. When were you out of line? I don't remember you being out of line. I when could you possibly be out of line? I don't remember you being out of line at all. We don't have a line you have to stay in here. It's possible to cross certain lines that can get you in trouble, but I don't remember you ever crossing any lines. The only thing I remember you doing was giving me hygiene tips, which I thought was pretty funny. It's like who comes around someplace and gives hygiene tips? Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, you weren't even close to being a problem, simple girl. I was surprised by the fact that you turned out to not be a troll or whatever. But, you know, I was also in a certain mood, I think, that day. I don't, was that the day I took mushrooms? Might have been the day I took mushrooms. If that was the day I took mushrooms, then I was probably kind of mean to you. I can get a little mean on mushrooms sometimes. What the fuck did I miss? Enzo Lex asks. You missed so many things. You missed part one, part two, part three, part 3A, part four. We're now at part five right now. So you missed all of that. But part five, I've got good news for you, Enzo Lex. Part five is destined to be, I think, the best part of all. At least the best part so far. Um, on the agenda still, if anybody here wants me to draw their soulmate, at some point I will. I'm not going to recap for you, Enzo. Truth only matters because of its utility. Well, no. It is the case that there's an element of truth that is called intention, right? So the problem is this, that when we hear somebody who's saying some bullshit interpretation of things, we might say, you are wrong. But we might also say, that's not true. If somebody tells a lie, we might also say, that's not true. But those are very different things. A person who's wrong because they don't understand how a given thing should be validated, and therefore are validating it wrong. Because each kind of thing has its own validation metric, right? So being wrong is usually affording a status of true or false to something, but you've tested it wrong. Like, instead of testing a statement of fact by checking to see if it's factually accurate, in other words, did you really leave the umbrella in the car? I could go check by looking in the car and see if it's there, right? Instead of evaluating the truth of it by that, I evaluate the truth of it with my intuition, or no, forget my intuition, but with my experience. That can't be true. You never leave the umbrella in the car. Okay, so in that instance, you've got an example where the person who's wrong is wrong because they used the wrong validation metric. They assume that their experience informs them about this current situation, and instead of validating by checking to see if the umbrella is actually in the car, they just trust their experience. So the point is, they might be correct or they might be incorrect. Let's say in this instance they're incorrect. The umbrella actually is in the car. Well, in that case, they're wrong because they trusted the wrong validation metric. Now, if we get another situation where we have the same situation, but in this time he says, I left the umbrella in the car, but he's lying. He actually left it at his lover's house. Then, let's say the other person goes and checks in the car. The umbrella's not in the car. And he says, the umbrella's not in the car. You were at least wrong when you told me you left it in the car, or at worst lying, right? So wrong and lying are different things. Wrong happens usually because people use the wrong validation metric. Lying is an intentional attempt to deceive. So does the truth matter? Yes, because truth is how we successfully communicate. If I'm expressing to you that I feel sad, the correct response on your part may be to hug me, you know? In that case, you're evaluating, dealing with the communication act of one person correctly with the right validation metric. And you're not saying, well, that's not a good enough reason to be sad, or some other shit like that. Or being sad's not going to help, right? People could respond like that. There's an instance where you need to understand the validation metric of the person's communication is not one of utility, nor is it one of proportionality. Like, I mean, you know, so what, Judy? So you have to wait a week before you buy that sweater you want. That's not a good enough reason to be sad. That'd be kind of a TI response, not very SI focused or whatever. So the truth matters because when everybody validates communications against the proper metric, then it disempowers people to intentionally deceive. That's one reason. Most importantly, it's like being wrong often plays out like I saw this billboard in Los Angeles that said, uh, everyone has the right to quality healthcare. Well, that's an advocacy by somebody who believes that everybody should have healthcare. And they might believe they're using the word right correctly there. Who knows? But the fact is, what they're functionally doing is destroying our ability to communicate. Because the word right means something specific, it doesn't mean entitled to. What they meant was everybody ought to be entitled to healthcare. In other words, healthcare ought to be an entitlement that goes along with being an American citizen. And they ought to have expressed it that way, because in expressing it some other way, they're destroying the utility of language to actually communicate with one another. I'm not even musing on healthcare, right? I'm musing on the use of language. There's no way to use the word right correctly to say that people have the right to healthcare. Nor the right to housing. It's conceivable that via acts of legislation of some sort, we could make those into civil rights. We could call them such. Like, voting's a civil right. It's not a natural right. Equal protection under the law is a civil right. It's not a natural right. But even then, it's hard to imagine how you can frame free housing or free healthcare as anything other than an entitlement. And entitlements aren't necessarily all bad, but they require a different kind of reasoning, and they require you to acknowledge that nobody's rights are being violated when the government doesn't provide them housing. And one of the most appalling things I heard was when Gen Xennial said something along the lines of, I'm just using dog whistly kind of language when I call them entitlements. It's like, how, when you're that married to your position that you refuse to acknowledge that using language correctly is not siding with either side, right? It's just saying, okay, let's all be fair and reasonable and use the right words for things. For him to view the term entitlement as propaganda style language used by ultra conservatives or something, it's absolutely insane. That kind of attitude destroys our ability to communicate meaningfully about any political issue, because every political issue then becomes this exchange of loaded terms, right? There's nothing loaded about the term entitlement. That's what it is. You can't use the actual name of something without revealing that you're secretly some sort of conservative who hates poor people. It's like, how can such people with such childlike understanding of politics engage with the subject at all? It's horrible. It's destructive to America. People need to be responsible in their use of words. Jordan Peterson needs to stop worrying so much about whether people clean their room and start worrying a lot more about what they say and how they talk. I mean, there is no good kind of, there's no good way to get rid of the individual's responsibility for themselves And there's no good way to impose a bunch of anti-market forces, right? It's like capitalism is simply the absence of any third party using force to interfere with two other parties engaging in mutually beneficial commerce. Now, there are instances where the government needs to step in and regulate things to maintain a level playing field to ensure that competition continues to be the engine of capitalism and to disallow monopolies and things like that. Um, but by and large, we just need to remember that capitalism isn't a system, right? It's not a an ideology like socialism or communism is or whatever. It is instead the absence of such. Well, of course there is, Carlos Baeva. I mean, the government has a monopoly on use of force and applies that ideally in preserving the integrity of the public space, of markets, and in providing a justice system that people can appeal to when their rights are violated by other individuals. But most, if not all, of my engagements with other people um, do not involve any use of force or threat of force. That doesn't mean that there's not a societal level um, government monopoly on use of force, but uh, that's not present in my life usually, right? I'm not saying that the government shouldn't have a monopoly on use of force. That's how it's defined, and of course it should, because otherwise you have the Wild West. The bottom line is that by and large, communitarian impulses lead to disastrous effects. Whenever you start sacrificing principle and prioritizing the group over the individual, in other words, you're affirming this notion of concentrated harm for diffuse good. Um, it generally doesn't work. It only works in certain very limited contexts. There are myriad harms that ensue, etc. Well, you know what I'm going to recommend for you, Russian name? I'm going to recommend that you rub some preparation H on it. Well, correct. Government is a communitary body. In other words, it's there to represent the interests of the group that are legitimately group interests. Things like infrastructure, keeping the peace, um, providing forums for civil and criminal litigation, uh, and a variety of other things. I'm not saying the government has no place, and I'm not saying communitary realities don't exist. I'm saying that an underlying philosophy of communitarianism will lead to uh, sort of a monopoly on community. So, like here in Mariposa, we have these great community events sometimes. For example, the open mic that we went to recently. It's a wonderful experience of community. But the thing to note is that our government, our county government, represents the community actually. It's a small population. Government can legitimately represent that population and behaves accordingly, etc. Right? And because it's a good approach to community, it prioritizes the autonomy of individuals within the community. Um, it keeps it low density with zoning regulations and stuff, and those sometimes limit the rights of property owners. So there's a compromise there to be had, right? But the most important thing to remember is that when you have communitarianism as an underlying value, then instead of allowing individual communities to find and select themselves and behave accordingly, you have some larger expectations of a larger community that imposes itself on everybody. And that's when you have trouble. So when you look at, say, Japanese society, which is highly communitarian, the individuals have limited capacity to form and define their own communities. And to define themselves as contrasting against certain you know societal norms or expectations. So I'm not an ideologue. I'm not saying that I'm not a anarcho-capitalist, libertarian, whatever. I understand the government has a role to play, and that in in practice, our relationship with our government is one if let's say we're in government, serving in a role in government, then our relationship is going to have to be, to the extent that we can manage it, pragmatism constrained by principalism, and you know we have a constitution that provides us a sort of axiomatic point of reference. We can. So how similar do you think your views are to the Libertarian Party? Uh, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if they have a specific platform or whatever, but probably not that similar because my take on it is that one can only evaluate one's positions on things in terms of what one would do if you evaluate it in the context of whatever office you're imagining holding. So, as president, I understand my job as being meow, meow, meow. And accordingly, there's a lot of pragmatism that goes into to operating the executive branch. And I certainly am not all about let's tear down stuff that exists that's not optimally manifest in terms of respecting individual rights and stuff, right? And there are certain areas where I probably disagree with the Libertarian Party on, like environmental stuff. And that's one of those areas where I say, okay, I can make the argument as to why I need to take a more pragmatic perspective on environmental stuff, even if it's not, constitutionally legitimate in terms of federal jurisdiction. That's not an area where I'd have the Justice Department attempt to rewrite case law. It's not going to be, Mr. Kartoffel, so just drop it already. I mean, no, rights don't emerge from needs, Big Viv. A right is that which you can universalize, which is why there are only negative rights. We all have, for example, a universal right to bodily integrity. And what that means is that everybody else has an obligation not to stab us without our consent, for example, right? So, because we can make these clear distinctions between those kinds of things that universalize and those kinds of things that don't, and how and when they universalize, we have terms to indicate those distinctions. So a negative right refers to the that which universalizes an obligation of non-interference by others. A positive right is that which is attained uh, contractually between two parties. So if I go through McDonald's and I pay at the first window, I have a positive right to food at my second window. And you'll note that uh, I don't need to have that positive right I could get food in other ways. I could grow my own food, whatever. But the reason it's a right is because it universalizes. In equivalent context, if I pay for my food, I have a right to get it, right? Otherwise, they're stealing from me. Needs, on the other hand, are different things. I need water. Um, One might say that I have a reasonable expectation to be able to access water, but to say that I have a right to water would mean that if I just sat down in the middle of a room and never got it up and got myself water and died of thirst, then somebody else, because of my right to water, was obligated to bring me water and would be guilty of murder. And we know that's not the case, so we have to use a different term for those things. Otherwise, we destroy the meaning of terms that actually do make meaningful distinctions. So I basically have a more expert level view than the libertarians. Well, I have a more nuanced, more practical, more realistic. I'm not an ideologue, you know. I'm a policy wonk plus a principlist. Sure, Big Viv. I appreciate your good questions. These are sort of things I like to answer, you know. Well, I mean, maybe. I think what you get in among libertarians a lot is a sort of an unqualified TI frame projection. You're high is what you are. You policies are high. No, I mean, I'm not very high, unfortunately. I wish I were higher, but regardless, my understanding of public policy would not be impacted by my highness. So, you know, but TI is the friend. Well, sure, uh, but really, if you're running for some sort of political office, the frame should be what's best for America, and um, and certainly TI can argue that what's best for America is a strictly principlist approach to meow, meow, meow. But I don't agree with that. It's too, look, anytime you try to totalize any particular ideology, it always seems to lead to totalitarianism in some fashion or another. But it means to totalize something. The frame should be telling the truth about aliens. In layman terms, your opinion is a right. Yeah, everybody has the right to their opinion. Sure, that's that's implicit in freedom of conscience, which is a natural right. In other words, nobody can legitimately interfere with. I mean, it not even it's not even possible for them to police your thoughts, right? But concurrently, nobody can legitimately interfere with your right to voice your opinion in a public space or to another person. However, it's also the case that certain kinds of speech can legitimately be policed. There's protected speech and there's not protected speech. We draw those distinctions because, for example, a call to action, in general, lies aren't protected speech. Purposeful deceit is not protected speech. So if I tell you, oh yeah, it's safe to cross the street right now. You're holding a big box in front of your eyes. You can't see. Okay, the cars are all past. It's safe to step out on the street right now, but I'm lying. You do step out on the street and get hit by a car. There was a witness to this whole scene. You'd be guilty of murder. That would not be protected speech, right? In general, lying is not protected speech. I visited the set of Schindler's List in Germany and did a Nazi cosplay. That's very strange. Is that protected speech? I mean, in my opinion, yes. Uh, there's nothing the Supreme Court has ruled that says hate speech is not protected speech. However, it's important to remember also that in terms of the issue of censorship, quote unquote, in the United States, we are protected by the First Amendment from censorship by the government. That does not mean you can go into anybody else's house, say whatever you want, and they can't shush you, right? Or kick you out because of it. Because individuals in their own, in, you know, communities and individuals can police the speech of people in various ways. That's not the government doing it. How did people there take it? I don't think he really did that. I think his point is that would that be protected speech? And the answer is yeah, from the government. You can't get in trouble with the government for that. Is Boba Fett drunk? You know, the question, if you have any doubt about it, is Boba Fett sober? Question mark! Exclamation point. Do you have thoughts about Project 2025? I don't know what Project 2025 is. You want to explain it to me? Presumably, it's next year's project. You're looking pretty far ahead for me, Lou. I haven't even begun to think about this year's project. I guess Project 2024 is a cutlet pudding project right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put some cutlets because I'm seeing some anticipatory bird and squirrel action here, trying to make me feel guilty about not putting out the cutlets. Okay, woodland friends, it's cutlet time. Are you ready for some cutlets? It's a cutlet night party with Frank and Al and Dan. Come on, it's cutlet time. You know it's cutlet time. Yeah, it's time for cutlets, so come and get on. The cutlets are here, and you know you're going on. It's cutlet time. Put some cutlets there. Put some cutlets over here, too. Come on, it's cutlet time. All right, it's cutlet time. You can eat it with your little mouth. You can peck it with your little beak. Now it's cutlet time. So come over and take a peek. It's cutlet time. The blue jay right there, he's already honing in on the cutlets. See if we can get him in frame. There he is. I don't know if you can see him. It's a little hint of blue there. Oh, down he comes. He's looking for some cutlets. He's like, come on, friends. Come on over. The cutlets have been put out. That's what he's saying. All right. He's digging right into the cutlets. You're welcome. You're welcome for cutlets. You love them so much. Oh, yes. You love your cutlets with your little heart. There's a cutlet lover right there, as you see. Zoom in a bit. Just one of many cutlet lovers in the vicinity. There's a cutlet lover. You can really taste the love that I put into these cutlets. That's why they like them so much. Uh-oh, here comes a squirrel. He's like, wait, I love cutlets too. You birds can't have all the cutlets. All right, well, look, I'll just stay over here and eat my cutlets. And you stay over there and eat your cutlets, okay? Deal? I wish you didn't put them on the snow like this. It's cold on my feet. Hey, deal with it. These are cutlets we're talking about. Fair enough. I do love cutlets a lot. Yeah, who doesn't love cutlets? I mean, this guy puts out the best cutlets in town. They're grade A choice cutlets. I don't even know what he's even thinking, just tossing them on the ground for us like this. He could be charging us a lot of money for these cutlets. It's okay, guys. I'm providing cutlets to you for free because I'm a nice guy. You mean there's cutlets over here on the wall too? I gotta get in on these cutlets. Yeah, I gotta get in on them too. I'm right here. I like cutlets as well. Look at me chew them with my little beak. Oh, you silly cutlet lovers. You love cutlets so much. Anyway, my silly cutlet loving friends are currently gorging on cutlets. So, time for me to go back inside and to go to the lavatory. If you're not familiar with what the lavatory is because you're British, then I'll just use your term. It's the WC. The WC is where I'm going. Sometimes called the water closet on occasion. Some people call it the bathroom. But, hi Irene. Is Facebook down? I don't know. Is Facebook down, Jimmy Leon CR? You're on your last roll of toilet paper. Ouch. We should probably get more toilet paper when we go to the store as well. So what I'm going to do now is make pee-pee in the potty. This is something I learned how to do as a young child. And I've never forgotten how since. It's really stuck with me. Like Beatles songs. You never forget Beatles songs you learned as a child. Similarly, you never forget how to go pee. So I'm just going to sit here, relax on a toilet. It's not appropriate to call this a bathroom because there's no bath in here. Just a sink and a toilet. And a whole lot of dreams. When your heart has a precious feeling and your body is currently peeing, that's the magical world of urine. Go and fetch me the shroud of Turin, 'cause it's bathroom time for you and me. Together we will poo and pee, and it's fun and fine, and makes me feel refreshed. That's part of my musical theater play called 6 Things You Get Out of Your Body. That song is about number 1 and 2, which, as numbered things, really, I think, get way too much credit. The other numbers rarely get referenced. Going number 3 is obviously rubbing one out. 4, 5, and 6 are tears, sweat, and mucus. You never really talk about going number 4, going number 5. Going number 6. People go number 6 frequently. Every time they blow their nose, they're going number 6. And women of breeding age, they have number 7. And that's vaginal blue splash party. Because you are a woman, you get to go number 7. Blood is flowing free from your gash. That's part of the song for that one in the musical theater Broadway play that I'm going to produce, called The 6, and in parentheses, or 7 things you have to get out of your body. Like there's one scene which got kind of like a snappy number in which the guy's going, "Don't talk to me about number 7. I am a man." He's a man. Like that. It's jazzy, it's snappy. It's meant to really get the audience smiling and tapping their feet. I hope you've enjoyed this commentary on the upcoming Broadway hit musical 6 or 7 things you get out of your body. Now, it's true you can get other things out of your body. You can get your regular blood. I'm not talking about old expired uterus lining. I'm talking about blood from your arm or whatever. You could get that out of you, but you don't want to. That's not good for you. Okay. If that's coming out of your body, well, at the very least, you probably need a Band-Aid. Could be even more serious than that. And I'm sure you could get bile out of your body. You don't really want to. You can vomit, but it's not. Ideally, you're not vomiting. Do you want me to watch you eat? I've not been very accommodating this morning because I really don't like this. But I will give you some watching now. See if we can satisfy your urge for observation. My cat's addicted to observation. Aren't you? Admit it. Go ahead, eat your food. My cat's got a very strange fetish. He wants to be observed while he eats. There, you horrible kitty. Spent all morning bugging me. I'm trying to get you to just eat without me watching you, but you don't like it. And you have somehow managed to become the boss of everyone and everything all the time. Which is pretty annoying, frankly, because none of us want a boss. But here you are, nevertheless, being the boss of everyone and everything all the time. Forcing me to watch you eat or deal with incessant, deafening meowings from you. If you've never been meowed at angrily by this cat, you've yet to learn the power of a meow. Meows are a form of mind control. It's kind of a ninjutsu that this cat has mastered. He's got a whole repertoire of different meows that affect people in different ways. You know, he'll run through the gamut as I try to adjust my defenses until he finds a weak point. He'll go from plaintive, sad meows to extended meows like meow, to like curt meow, curt angry meows, to like meow, to curt encouraging meows like meow, as I start coming towards, like following him a little bit. He's training me like I'm his dog with all of his verbal commands. And you can see he's eating vigorously now. Why? Because I'm here and I'm observing him. Yes. I'm glad you guys got a face full of kitty. I hope you enjoyed that. Probably the most visually satisfying moment in Talking with Famous People history right there. A face full of kitty. Well, the reason he's missing the tip of his ear, actually, Winston's mom, is that's what animal control does when they capture a feral cat in the neighborhood and they take him and they neuter him. They clip his ear so they don't get him again. That's how animal control deals with like feral cats, in at least in Arcadia, in the San Gabriel Valley in general, I think. Is instead of like killing them, capturing them, putting them in whatever, they just capture them, neuter them, clip their ear, and release them back where they caught them. All right, so let's have a seat for a moment. We've watched the cat eat. We've been outside. We've given cutlets to the woodland friends. I do have some trash I could take out to the trash cans here. And it's Monday. If I really wanted to go crazy, I could go up to the top of the driveway and push some water. You're stealing trouble. You know, obviously we'd mourn some, but if trouble were to abruptly disappear one day, half of our response would be like, oh, thank God. Half of it would be like, oh no, I love Trouble so much. He's gone. I miss him. The other half would be, oh my God, thank God this cat is no longer the incredible life ruining burden that he is, you know? It's Wednesday for Hunter's Locomotive. It is Monday for me. How is it Wednesday? Well, let's see. 24 hours from now would be Tuesday this time. You can't be that far ahead. Oh, is it Tuesday today? Oh, it's Tuesday today. Okay, well, that makes sense then. I thought it was Monday. Never mind. I thought it was Monday. My mistake. My bad. I'm going to put my head into my hat in shame. There. I hope you enjoyed that. So, there's a couple chores I could do here this morning that would be useful. Pushing water would definitely be one. To getting the shovel up there, messing with the mud and the rocks by the mailbox would be a good thing to do. Um, I do plan to fix that here at some point, but it's going to require me to get rid of a lot of that mud and replace it with rocks. So I may have to go get another shipment of rocks from the mountains. And I need to get basically smaller rocks or flatter rocks, one of the two. And I could take the trash out as well. There's a chore thing I could do. But actually, the first thing I think I want to do before I do any of those things is I would like to play 100,000 million years ago. Why? Because I just feel like it. That's why. Okay. Don't bust my chops all the time. Maybe. How about that? Yeah, I do feel like it. Does that make me a bad person? I don't think so. Okay. And I plan on playing a whole lot of stuff, so just relax. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years into and tears gnashing through. The whole slabs come to view. Unchangingly true. Eternally new. For when the slope appears in charge today. Options at large shows other ways. Take a chance now, once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork, it's not easy stopping short, too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force. Enemy ground, enemy ground. I kind of fucked that up a little bit. Annoyingly. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years ensue, tears gnashing through, holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true, eternally new. For when the slope appears in charge today, options at large show other ways. Take a chance now, once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force. Enemy ground, enemy ground. I'm surprised. That made my hand tired after just playing it one time. Just that song one time made my hand tired. That's a little annoying. Maybe it's cramping a little bit for whatever reason. Well, I don't feel satisfied having played that because I don't feel like I really nailed it. I want to play something else that maybe I'll play a little bit better or something. Let's see. What do I want to play? I think I'll play Destruction of the Whole Damn World. I think I'll play it a little slower than I usually do. See if it plays better that way. We need to know. We need to see. We need to plan that funnies down by me to judge. Logic to life we divisively unlike, and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits, hoping Judy will too. Barry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. Judy always thought that she should have bought 2 when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and ought, although she ever recall she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they missed a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Kaboom. Well, that was fine. That was fine and pretty good. I think now it's time to push some water. I know, it doesn't sound like the most fun thing conceivable in the world. It's not. But it's something that I will be happy if I do it, that it's done. I could even take a shovel up there, and we could take a gander at shoveling some rocks back over there. I don't know, what to do about all the mud. Maybe scoop some mud out of the way. a lot of possible things I could do up there. So let's take a chance on me. I'll be first in line. And see, I thought it was stuck way back when on BRB from Winston's mom. It got stuck. The chat did for me. All right, let me look at the chat before I go outside. And then we can go do this water push together. Let's see here. I see, okay. You sang that well, Eric. Thank you. She sounds terrible. Where's the type police? Rascal Flatbed says, no, not another one. Thanks, Rascal. Where's the white power police? I mean, black power? I just need to know the audience. And I know which one to support. You're fun. Rascal Flatbed likes to call me a she for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Okay, well, Rascal Flatbed, I appreciate your provocative ways. They certainly are contrafactual. I must say, though, you earn some kind of point. I'm not sure what kind of point for accusing me of something that almost never anybody does accuse me of, which is being a woman. That I'm not so familiar with. So there you go. My sister says your MBTI type is a fisherman. Yeah, your sister knows that. Well, yeah. I mean, if I were doing quantification in conditional logic, I would understand like instantiation and existentiality like that, right? So something it qualifies as existent if there is at least one instance of something in that set, right? The reason I don't do that, well, is because most people can't handle that. Those kind of things might be useful in helping to distinguish first slot, second slot from other slots, but I think ultimately it probably has a little bit too much to do with one's education to be entirely reliable. I mean, the thing is, one possible response to Elaine's fourth slot TI doing well on those things would be to make an advanced set of TI questions and see how TI 1-2 people do with those, you know? I haven't gathered that data yet. Maybe I should. Elaine does motivate me to work harder on the TI test a bit. Although I would say that I believe certainly that her competency on those specific kinds of questions that I ask has something at least to do with her deep familiarity with my typing sessions, you know? So, I mean, whether or not that's true, I don't know. Tough one to know with finality. It's not often that the basic operating principles of what I'm doing get challenged as they were by Elaine. You know, her super good 4-slot TI is it essentially falsifies my notion that you can use those things to determine first and second slot. So it's both frustrating and informative. A little frustrating because, of course, human beings are open system adaptive creatures who can learn about things and not and do better on whatever kinds of tests you might provide. Do better according to whatever their metric of better is, right? In other words, they can test more like an INFJ if they want to, if they know well enough the tests and can figure out how to game them somewhat. It's going to be impossible to prevent gaming entirely. But yeah, Elaine, I'm just talking about how your TI test results uh, have made me rethink some of my understanding of how TI questions link to meow and meow, whether or not I can, with those kind of questions alone, ever really determine first or second from something else, There are a variety of other possible ways I could go about it, have some kind of very advanced set of TI questions, and then I have to gather data to determine if the first and second slot people can do those consistently. Okay, so we're going to go up to there, to the water. I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to bring this orange broom. I would like as well, really, to bring a shovel just in case I decide to mess with the mud and the rocks up there a bit. I mean, I'm going up there for one job. I don't want to segue into two jobs, but okay. Let's take a look at what I got to do here. When I turn this camera around, what you will see is this horrible place that gathers water. Well, that's a start. Pretty good start, really. Here's some of these over here. sweetie. What a sweetheart you are. You are such a sweet dog. Yes, you are. You win the sweetest dog of the year award.
Yes, she's adorable.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Pushing this water.
Oh, good job.
Okay. I got most of this water pushed now. Alright. Then we'll get this last bit with this broom here. Okay. Let's see if maybe this is fast. You horrible water. Get out of here. Oh my God. It smells so much like the mountains right now. So wonderful smell. You know what I think? I think that's good enough, probably. But let's take a look at that over there for a second. Whew. Okay. Now we've done all that. It's time to put the things back. Okay. So, good for us. We got that done slash sort of done. I'll deal with the mailbox more properly come spring, you know. In the meantime, let's go down the hill and put these things away. Gonna avoid stepping on the snow so that I don't slip. Okay, now let's learn where these things go. These things go right here. Like that, see? Just like that. Okay, now we'll actually, let's be smart. I recently realized, just like yesterday, that it makes the most sense to leave my boots in the garage rather than in the house And then when I come in, I'll take my boots off in the garage. And where have I left my flip-flops? Also in the garage. That way I never track a bunch of shit inside from my shoes. And I don't even really need to use a wipe your foot off on this mat. Although there's one here leading from the garage to inside the house. So now I just put these boots in the back of the little wilderness car. Just put them right here. Smart, huh? And that forces me to go in and out through the garage when I put my boots on. I want to put my boots on. Because obviously I leave my flip-flops where I take my boots off. Yeah, I'm going to drink some water right now. I know that's directed to Boba Fett, but could well be directed to me. I'm thirsty. Meow. Would you like me to watch you eat again? Even though I just watched you eat? Whew. That was a real humdinger of a workout. Pushing that water, sweeping water, digging mud and rocks. That'll really get the old cardiovascular going. And then, in contrast, this task is comparatively little exercise. Watching the cat eat. I mean, sure, maybe my eyes might get a little tired watching the cat eat. Maybe my hand gets a small amount of workout by petting the cat while he eats. But by and large, watching the cat eat is a resting activity. Unlike water push, which requires me to use my muscles, to really get all manly up on that shit. Like a real man. I think if there were a boxer named Dan Catan, his name should be Real Man Dan Catan. So it's good to get the heart rate up, get the blood pumping, get your breathing rate up a bit, It's good to do that periodically. It's called exercise. I'm not a big fan of it, but I acknowledge its utility and general worthwhileness. Okay, let's see what's going on here in the old chatteroo. I'm going to take out my glasses which I have in my pocket, conveniently located in my pocket, and see what's happening in the chat. Life is Ball says, hi, man. Shore Central says, in through the nose. Blue Elvis says, good man, Mr. Eric. Thanks, Blue Elvis. No, this isn't Florida Shore Central. This is all the way across the country. This is a suspicious moment. Well, yeah, it is going to get flooded again if it rains again, right? It is. It's this, as I've explained before, it's this very unfortunate spot at the top of the driveway. And it's this little scoop there, right? If we had curbs and gutters on our streets, it would direct the water down the gutters. But we don't have those things. Well, like one possible way to increase the complications of the TI tests would be to give tests that have two possible answers and see if they note the fact that it has two possible answers. Facebook and Instagram are down. People are losing their minds. Oh, Facebook's down, huh? And the Gram. Well, the Gram is run by Facebook. I know Rachel, she's a fan of the Gram. I only do YouTube. I'm in a monogamous long-term relationship with YouTube. Wow. That was good. It felt good to get some things done. And I'm happy I was able to do so. Of course, I was motivated by, what was his name? Rascal Flats or something? I was motivated by him to want to play another song because he was so Rascal Flatbed. Right. He motivated me to want to sing another song. But I think before I do that, I will have a health tube here pretty quick. I'm not going to be streaming all day. Rachel and I need to go to the store, but it's quite some time before Rachel wakes up. I only have one cartoon to watch today. It is possibly my favorite cartoon of the whole week, but it's still just one cartoon, only lasting a total of 22 minutes. I'm sorry, you said that was a humdinger. I'm curious as to what the humdinger I came in too late. I guess the humdinger was me pushing all the water at the top of the driveway. I engaged in some manual labor that involved me doing a lot of pushing very fast and then got me out of breath, you know. But I made some progress for at least a little while. It's not going to be water in that spot up there. And one of the reasons I don't like the water in the spot is then the mailman drives through it and makes the mud even worse in the mud spot, which I just need to go back to the drawing board with the mud spot, okay? I'm going to have to dig out all the rocks and mud that I have there currently. The mud was there. I didn't put it there. The mud was just there. And make a trench. Then fill that with gravel. That's the only way this is going to be solved. Don't let work get in the way of knowing its futility. It's not futile money because, you know, every day that we don't have water there, the day we don't have water there, goes in the record books as a day where it was free of water. Now, granted, today is probably the smartest day imaginable to clean it up because we are expected to get more rain on Thursday, possibly through the weekend, and that's just going to cause more of the same problem. But Thursday, we're only supposed to get 2 hours of rain, 3 hours of rain, from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. So, and after that, looks like it's going to be clearing up. Normally, we don't get much precipitation after the middle of March. But I do have a desire still, and I may do it this week. This week's a good week to do it. I could do it, say, Wednesday or whatever. Um, I see it on Gizmodo. Facebook, Instagram, and Threads are down in a major outage. What's Threads? I don't know what Threads are or what Threads is. But Meta is responsible for Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Threads. Oh, fake Twitter? Okay, cool. Yeah, well, getting some bigger rocks to put at the bottom of the trench would enable me to buy less gravel, right? Because the gravel, I've already spent like well over $100 on gravel, annoyingly. Good morning, Caroline. Um, so that would save me some money on gravel, but I just have to stop trying to half-ass it, right? Well, I mean, I didn't really think about. At first, I didn't want to fix it at all. It was just like, so there's mud there. Who cares? And the mailman complained about it, and now I've been wrestling with it ever since, basically. And yeah, I want to fix it so that it's not a problem. Palikjamanba says, laughing, crying, hearts, 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 crying, smiling, whistling, rosy cheeks, dollar sign tongue, meh. James here has extra strong servos and highly sensitive sensors for child care. Who's James? I don't know who James is. Now, regarding the notion of it's just going to get flooded again, in general, I'm a big proponent of that kind of thinking, right? Like, why do I have to wash my clothes? They're just going to get dirty again. Why do I have to wash my dishes? They're just going to get dirty again. Why do I have to, like, make the bed, for example? It's just going to get unmade immediately again. Eric, do you have any thought process when you wake up as far as self-talk or motivation? Well, no, not really. But like this morning, I knew when I got up that the first thing I needed to do was call Mass Mutual and deal with this thing because I got this letter yesterday that made me a little bit panicky. Because I had sent them the appropriate documents and I got a letter saying, if you do not act on this, this is your final notice. We are going to refer this to unclaimed property. You know, like instances where nobody will claim an inheritance or whatever, it goes to uncle. I was like, fuck that. So I called them, and in fact, this morning when I called them, I discovered that they have indeed received the documents I sent them, and they have already sent out a check for me. It just hasn't gotten here yet. So that's good. And the point is, this morning I woke up with clear knowledge already, first thing waking up, of what I went to bed last night with clear understanding of what I was going to do this morning, first thing, because that is just like, I'm not going to not take care of that when there's, a sizable amount of money on the line. So, no, I'm 52, Marie. Anyway, I knew this morning waking up that I was going to deal with that. Beyond that, I have just sort of vague notions of stuff I might do today. Maybe when I first wake up, but then at this point in the day, I have more clear notions of what I'm going to do. I recognized from going into the fridge a couple of times this morning where I remembered that that I need to go to the store, get drinks and other things. Midnight Dog says, "You ain't aging well." Well, I actually feel like I'm aging quite well. It may not be physically so. In other words, my physical appearance may be, maybe it may be such that I look older than I actually am. I'm 52. It may be such that I look older than I actually am, but I'm aging well in all the ways that matter. So I don't really care how old I look, frankly. It doesn't matter to me. I'm aging well because I'm mellowing in my old age. I'm more gentle than I used to be. More more informed, more wise, less inclined to impulsive decision making, and just generally more big picture in my understanding of things. So in that regard, I feel like I'm aging quite well. It's called weed. What is? Oh, blue Elvis. It's fine. Yeah, the thing is, nobody ever needs to worry about somebody coming in here and hurting my feelings. I am who I am. I've been this person in front of the world for a long time now on YouTube. And I've had people come in expressing all manner of dickhood. No, Midnight Dog, it doesn't, the weed is not why I'm more calm as an older person, because I smoked just as much, if not more, weed when I was younger. So that doesn't have anything to do with it. In order to attribute a specific cause to my increasing calmness or gentleness, it would have to be a change that coincided in time with the general move towards more gentleness. Overall, I think you would say that it's YouTube, but more recently, you might say that it is moving to Mariposa has contributed to that as well. Thank you, Marie. Thank you for loving me. Barry McCockiner. Hello, welcome. Uh, People are dicks, says Blue Elvis. And why do people negatively project so much these days? Well, I don't know. I'm married. I don't think that people so much negatively project more than they ever did. It's just that in a context like this, where somebody's randomly going through their shorts feed and happens upon this thing, they're rolling how they roll through life. And one thing that's fairly rare to encounter when you're rolling how you roll through life is to come at somebody with a certain amount of heat and have them respond neither defensively nor aggressively, but just treat it as what it is. This person's in the habit of doing that. Do I like England? I've been to England before. I thought it was fine. I didn't like fall in love with it or anything, but I enjoyed the part of London that we were in, and we saw a great play in London. Oh, you purposefully went to my channel. Well, good for you, Midnight Dog. Thank you. Thank you for purposefully coming here. I don't feel like wearing a bikini right now. It's quite cold outside, But that, yeah, it is. It's actually mostly shake. It's the plate I put my buds on, and then when I'm done with a pile of buds, half of it is broken into shake. That goes. So I appreciate Midnight Dog that you purposely came here, regardless of if you purposely came here to insult me or to engage in some other way. It doesn't really matter to me. If you are irritating in certain ways across the line that I kind of arbitrarily assign, then I could always just hide you or something. Good morning, Cam Moto. How are you? Very nice to see you today. I am doing pretty well. I'm just chilling here this morning. I got up on the early side because I went to bed really early last night. I took care of some business on the phone I needed to take care of, and that went favorably. I was pleased with the results of that phone call. And, got a couple things on tap that I need to do today. I'm going to go over to the other house and try to figure out where to turn on the water. It's currently turned off, but, well, I mean, when are you coming up, Cam? I'm not exactly sure what tools we'll need. Friday. Okay, cool. So you're actually going to come up, it sounds like the same time that Ruben and Acacia are going to come up. We can, you know, you're going to, I have it planned that you're staying with us and they're going to stay in that little house, the new little house. And, but I imagine maybe at some point we'll all go over there and try to get a couple things done. I need to get some linens for over there, and I'm not exactly sure what tools we're gonna need. Nothing seems particularly broken or whatever. Sure, sure, yeah, that's fine. It's fine to bring it even for this house, Uh, yeah, I'm just I'm just not sure yet exactly what I'm gonna need. I have the big ladder. I need to clean out the rain gutters over there, but I think I might have ask Ruben to do that because I pliers or wrench. I have pliers. I have most of the tools that one might need. Cam has some things that I don't have. He's got more specialized tools, but smoking kills, by the way. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. What I can tell you for sure, Marie, is that it doesn't kill instantly. In that regard, it differs from cyanide dramatically. You know, uh, being shot in the head kills much more effectively than smoking. I'm not sure, Cammoto. I don't really know what's on tap. Uh, we could certainly go out shooting. I know Acacia likes that kind of stuff a lot. I understand how the misunderstanding happened yesterday with the TI question. It was ambiguous, if not P or Q. Except even the first two times, I did the parentheses with my hands after I said not. Even the first time I did that. If not P or Q, I did it like that. So yeah, you could, if you weren't watching it, the ambiguity is understandable. But what's not understandable is the way that people remembered hearing it without the nod at all. Right? Because it's not like I was competing with people who were saying, no, you said if not P or Q. I was competing with people who said, no, you said if P or Q. But I definitely said not. So there's nothing ambiguous about that. Eric, did you guys get a Rummy Tile or Rummy Cube board game? No, I don't know what that is. In any case, money, we're not splitting hairs. What Isaiah Rude says makes sense, except that's not what the people were saying. They weren't making that claim that we were disagreeing there. They just didn't hear the not for whatever reason. All right, that's it. It is time to take out the trash. In an ideal world, every time it's time to take out the trash means you're going to beat up a bad guy. But in the real world, it's time to take out the trash just means it's time to take out that trash. Even if you say it action movie style, it's time to take out the trash. It's still just time to take out the trash. That's one of the unfortunate differences between movies and reality. Simple Girl just did this herself. She took out the trash. To make it more exciting for yourself, did you say, it's time to take out the trash? If not, maybe try that technique next time. Then you'll feel like you're about to beat up some bad guys. Okay. Here are the trash cans. Here is my trash bag. I'm gonna put it in. Look at it now. They're written. So one more trash bag needs to be taken out. It's by Rachel's chair now. I'll go and I'll get it. Then I will collect it and I'll put it outside. There's Rachel's trash. So let's do the same thing we did last time. I'm going to teach everybody now how to take out the trash. If you're smart, you've gotten the kind of trash bag with the red pull tie things. If you're Eric, you got these kind of bags because you thought, oh, they're a little bit cheaper. Not realizing, save your money someplace else, dumbass. Get the easy to use trash bags. You hate that shit. You don't want to make it more hard for yourself. So now, because I did that, I have this tied up though, and it's going to go where? Can you guess? If you can't guess, you didn't learn anything from the last trash bag pudding that I did, because it was indicative to you of everything you needed to know in order to throw the trash away. So here we go. So anyway, and it's sort of a response to Blue Elvis, like why do people have to project negativity or be dicks or whatever. One thing I like about YouTube is that a lot of people who want to be like roving dicks or whatever you want to call it, their goal is to somehow hurt your feelings, right? But I'm really not susceptible to that. It's very difficult for anybody to hurt my feelings. And so I enjoy personally them coming in and attempting to do that, as long as it doesn't spill over onto Rachel. You should make such a video. Well, I think you should make such a video, and you should make a video as well, generally saying, I'm going to start documenting my struggles with alcohol addiction stuff, getting sober here on this channel. And what you might see is me suddenly getting sober, at least stopping alcohol completely, and staying stopped. You might see me struggling to stop. You might see me starting and stopping. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to document it all for everybody, and we'll see how it goes. And you might very well garner an audience that way, because one thing that we have going for us is being honest, forthcoming, straightforward, and people understand that that kind of vulnerability isn't that common. Simple Girl has quarter horses, but I also take care of my cousin's 2 horses. What do you do with them all? What is this video? I'm me, 7. Ball Inspects asks this question. What is this video? This video is the most important and best live stream in the history of the world. You've happened upon it. You are fortunate to have done so. Because after all, this, Talking with Famous People, is the only YouTube channel in the world. So you got lucky. Personally, I would say that if you want to really get maximum value out of this channel, you're going to need to watch this live stream for at least 4 to 6 hours a day. And then you'll really begin to appreciate what it is that this stream offers, because it might not be immediately apparent to you. You might be thinking, hey, that's just some old man standing there talking. And you wouldn't be wrong. Blue Elvis notes that he likes how non-affected I am by trolls. And the thing is, Blue Elvis also, it's genuine. I'm genuinely not affected by it. So that's why I like their arrival, as long as they don't go after Rachel, Because without exception, they have run into their match, Some of them get riled up by that failure to impact, such that they spiral into things like threats or attacking Rachel, at which point I hide them, or hate speech kind of shit. But most of them just kind of like sputter and disappear. There are these YouTube channels that specialize in like scamming scammers, or getting scam phone calls and then tagging the scammer along, leading them on indefinitely, wasting their time, whatever. There are certain channels that do that specifically. I don't do that specifically with trolls. It's not like part of my content agenda, but it does seem that it's something that happens. Sometimes I convert them, and that's the other thing, is that just because somebody's coming in here acting like a complete dick or a douchebag right up the gates, it doesn't mean that that's who they are, right? Sometimes it does, and sometimes they're just bored and haven't encountered really anything worthy of their respect, So I do think across the history of the channel, a lot of different people have sort of ended up being converted to the idea that I'm not bad. In other words, a lot of people start with the idea that I'm bad for one reason or another, and then end up spending a fair amount of time around the channel eventually, and be like, yeah, at some point say that to me, like, yeah, at first I hated you, but now I find that I'm watching you a lot. It's kind of nice to hear. Of course, at first I hated you, and not something I necessarily am familiar with hearing throughout my life. It's more like, I hate you for no particular reason. I'm onto you. I hate you. Onto me for what? I know you're you and your awful ways, Eric. Okay, well, the point is, I hate you, Eric. Okay, I got it. You hate me. Maybe it's true for every extrovert that's not FE1 or something like that, but a certain amount of people in life have always just hated me immediately for no particular reason. Except they just rubbed them the wrong way. Maybe it's the case that every type experiences that. Individuals of every type experience some individuals of other types just hating them for no particularly good reason. That may not be unique to me or my type or anything like that. Well, you're in the exception there, Blue Elvis. You are the exception. Blue moon, you caught me standing alone, without a care in my heart, without a love of my own. We're doing moon songs. Moon river, meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. That's Moon River. Other moon songs. Stuck between the moon and New York City. To fall in love. It's another moon song. Other moon songs? Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. Meow, 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 meow. Other moon songs. Well, if you think of the term moon in the general sense of a satellite around a planet, then perhaps Lou Reed's Satellite of Love counts as a moon song. Satellites fall down from the sky. Things like that drive me out of my mind. Hi, Mohammed Milroyd. I can't really read it without my glasses. Who am I? I am Eric. I am Eric, and I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of YouTube. There are plenty of other kings of YouTube, but I am their king, thereby I am the Emperor of YouTube. As such, I have many powers. I get to declare what YouTube's topic of the week is, and nobody has to listen to me, but everybody should. Nobody does, but they should all feel bad about that. I've never declared a topic of the week yet, but hypothetically, the aforegoing. Today's topic, the topic for YouTube for this week, I should say, is sunshine, good or bad. Sunshine, good or bad? I'm voting good. I think sunshine is good. It helps plants grow. It warms you on a cold spring's day. It fills up the corner in children's pictures with a circle. It gives you a use for yellow besides flowers in your color palette. A lot of good reasons to like sunshine. So anyway, if you're new around here, I highly, highly recommend you subscribe because you're not going to get this content anywhere else in the world except for right here. This content, there's no other content that's exactly the same as this content, okay? I don't even know if this fits a format exactly. It's a live streamer who talks about a variety of things without any particular plan, but engages the chat regularly. Somebody who feels comfortable carrying long stretches of time without necessarily any chat engagement, so I don't need the chat to respond. And I generally try to talk about a variety of topics that are broadly interesting to people, ranging from philosophy to politics to sports to the paranormal to music to fashion. Sometimes Rachel and I do fashion police on like the Oscars or the People's Choice Awards or whatever. Look at the various dresses, declare whether they're any good. Carolina's moving back to Colorado in a few months, back to Grand Junction, Colorado. Carolina's going back to Colorado. She's gonna ride some horses and lasso them, ride the clouds and ski on a van, and then she's gonna go to Vail, Colorado. That's my song for you, Caroline, going back to Colorado. Okay. You can play it on the radio the whole way back. You'll be in good shape when the nuclear war starts. That's where the secondary capital of the U.S. is, in case of the coasts getting decimated by nuclear bombs or whatever. He's got to go underneath Cheyenne Mountain. Apparently, that's a safe place to go. I'm in a pretty good place, reasonably good place if shit gets all nukey. Nobody's gonna nuke Fresno. People may nuke any number of places. Fresno is not one of them. They nuke the Bay Area. Well, I'm a 3-hour plus drive from the Bay Area, and that's fairly reasonably as the crow flies. So, might have to hunker down inside for a while to avoid the nuclear fallout. Obs, even once you go outside into the nuclear fallout, after it's been there for a few days, well, you got to kind of hope for a strong wind to blow it away. But it's probably going to blow nuclear fallout towards you from someplace else. You really got to be prepared to hunker down for quite some time, frankly. We don't have a basement. That's unfortunate, but we are kind of surrounded by hills. We have natural geographic protection. So, fingers crossed if there's a nuclear war, Rachel and I survive it. If we have a full supply of gasoline, we're more set up than most. We could run a generator, get electricity sometimes, Of course, if all the broadcast stations and stuff are down, essentially if there's no internet, not really much reason to have electricity. Our heater and stove and stuff are propane. We'd have to hope that it happens right after our propane gets filled, and then we'd have to just be super rationy about it. We'd be able to cook things. We'd be able to have the heater on occasionally, You just kind of have to hope also that when that happens, you're pretty stocked up on canned foods and stuff. We have a decent supply of canned foods if that were to happen. No, I'm not. I'm not disaster planning for any particular reason. I'm not disaster planning at all. In fact, I don't have a large supply of canned goods, or our water would probably be fine too. It's from the water tower. I'm just musing about the fact that well, the topic was broached initially when Caroline said she's going to Denver, and I mentioned that that's a good place to be in case of a nuclear war. That's where the second capital of the U.S. is going to be in case of a nuclear war, and that Cheyenne Mountain. If you go underneath Cheyenne Mountain, apparently it's like that's where there's like protect people from nuclear war stuff. So anyway, it got me on the topic, and I just sort of noted that I'm actually in not a bad place to be in case there's a nuclear war. Yes. I'm going to ask a poll question at this point. It's kind of a dark poll question, but a straightforward enough one. Will there be a use of nuclear weapons before 2100? Everyone's Facebook, Instagram, and all meta platforms are now tapped. I wonder what happened. Somebody's like, oops, I dropped my peanut butter and jelly sandwich into the computer. Well, apparently, according to Sean Babet, everyone's meow is now meowed. I will check. I'll see what my Facebook page says when I try to go to it. Oh, that's right. I don't even have it as a saved as a on the bookmark bar anymore because I never use it. My Facebook's working fine. I've got 5 new messages. Sorry, just saw this. I never use Facebook. My email is ssuartscire@gmail.com, and my phone number is 626-615-8751. I'm sure this is long past relevance, but there you go, just in case. There. Okay, I dealt with a message. I never look at my messages because it's like, why would I look at them? My Facebook's working fine. I lived in the mountains for 12 years before my husband passed. So I'm sorry to hear about that, simple girl. Should you wear a bikini in Mumbai? The answer is no, Marat512. According to this short I saw before beginning this live stream, the answer is no. Money says the usage of nukes will coincide with the colonization of Mars. In other words, to pressure people to move to Mars? Well, I don't really think that anybody with any particular agenda in the status quo has sufficient sway to make that happen for any particular outcome. You know, there's everybody who has nuclear weapons has a powerful interest in not using them because the response usage of nuclear weapons is almost guaranteed, and that's going to like basically eliminate their country. You know, true. Where Bikini is in Goa, not in Mumbai. I wonder about Chincoteague Island for you. What is Chincoteague Island? I've never heard of it before. Chincoteague Island? Is that really the name of an island? Yeah, Greece crazy, but one thing I could not imagine losing my wife. You know. Who's this? All right, I gotta go. What do I think about the reports of UFOs disabling nuclear weapons? I mean, it's all just eyewitness testimony. These people seem credible. I don't know what to think, frankly. But anyway, I got to go. I'm going to take this phone call from this reporter lady who is doing this story on healthcare costs and stuff, and who I just sent this Facebook message to her because I just saw her message, and she called me. So I told her, "Can you call me back in 5 minutes?" So I'm going to end the stream and talk to them. That'll be kind of interesting. I'll tell you about it later when I stream again. Bye for now. Love you all.